real estate people. For example, if someone's losing their house due to a lack of payment on their mortgage, you can come in, catch them up on their mortgage, put a contract in place.
Hello. I didn't realize you guys were sitting there. Sorry. I needed to just have a open up, but I did not. Okay. Hello, hello. Let's see here. Approve. Welcome. All right. We got a good doozy here today, which is going to be so fun. Welcome, Tanya. Do you have any questions before we get started? At 12:15, I will be calling Brady. He is a homeowner that is in serious distress, and we sent him an offer last night. Well, we sent him a rough like idea of what would be actually, contract. So, I do love sending over more of like a notice of interest, like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, or a a letter of intent, I should say, not notice of interest. I love doing the of like, hey, this is essentially what I would be offering you. Now let's negotiate. That's where we're at today. And smile and dial is simply understanding. Okay, so we understand now how to run the numbers. At least that's what we did last Thursday, is we ran the numbers. And then on the calculator, right? So on the new Investor Secret Network calculator that is live and you can export it now, which is super awesome. You will be able to take that and actually run those numbers. So last night, let's see if I can share my screen here. Last night, I was on the phone with Scott, and we essentially set up, let's go back to Investor Secret Network. Tiffany, hello. Hello, Tiff. Hello, hello. How are you, love? How are ya? Okay, so what I wanted to do and what I was just talking about, if you can hear me, is so at 12:15, I will be jumping on a call with Brady. Well, yeah, let's see. Here he is. Amelia, are we going to meet on Zoom? Wow. Brady, you or Scott, you're silly. So this is who we're talking to. So Scott, yes. You and I will be on Zoom, but Brady will just be on the phone. You will call him. So basically what I'm making Scott do is, work through me, but I want him doing all the work. So last night we did the similar thing. We wrote up the contract. We went through this entire calculator and just filled it all out. Had it ready to go so that everything's ready to go. And then he exported this to the person as a, like, this is what I'm thinking. This is how, we would actually structure this. Let's see. My note taker. Oh, okay. I thought it was somebody else. Trying to come into the chit chat. Let's see, participants. Nope, there's nobody here. I need to mute. Okay, so admit. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. iPhone 16 Pro. Yes.
You know who I am.
I do. Hi, Courtney. Hi, love. How
Hey,
are you?
hi, hi.
Hello, hello. So, what I was just explaining is today at 12:15, I will be jumping on a call with a distressed homeowner. And the distressed homeowner, I've already, so the process now is, so last Thursday we basically broke down like how to write the offer using this, calculator. Get rid of this. And then from there, it's like, okay, could you just send a letter of intent? Yes. So you could just export this, right? And then pull it up, open it up. It's not pretty. Mitch is still working on making this pretty. There's, I guess, a lot of coding to it. So he's still working with the programmer and everything to figure that out. But nevertheless, this is how it will show up. And so you can just email this to them. Truthfully, like if you're trying to be super transparent with, your offer, which in this case we were trying to be very transparent and be like, hey, this is what it's going to cost. This is what our, what the most that I think we can get out of this property, right? All of those things. The homeowner is in a very interesting situation because, well, we're going to dive into it. So let me text Scott real quick because he's going to be doing the call. So yes, you should jump on and then you call Brady from your phone. He sent me a text message with Brady in it and was like, hey, are we doing a Zoom call? Of course you don't want your homeowner on our Zoom call. I mean, we are recording it and that's great. And this is great content to go over, but you don't want him knowing that there's a bunch of students on the line. I mean, I don't think he actually would care, but just in case, right? We don't want that to happen. And who knows, this could go south really fast, right? So, um, and that's something that I want you guys to recognize. And here, I'll just stop share for a second. Is that truthfully, s- when you're dealing with homeowners that are in this type of situation, so I'll break this down until Scott jumps on. So, um, my mom found this deal. This is why, this like there's a lot to this deal. So my mom found this deal. She sent it to Scott because Scott lives in Ogden and this property's in Roy. And Scott's in our challenge, right? And so it's like, oh, of course that makes sense. And so then Scott goes and skips traces and tries to figure out who owns this property. He finally figures out who owns the property, calls a bunch of numbers. He got a hold of the homeowner. His name is Brady. Um, and then uh oh, he is in the waiting room. I don't see you. I don't see you here, Scott. I'm waiting in the Zoom used yesterday. Nope. I'll copy and paste it here because he obviously is in the wrong Zoom link. Okay, so there we go. And so with that being said, he calls the homeowner, right, Brady, and has this long conversation. Well, Brady then becomes very open and says, "Oh my gosh, man, I'm drowning. I've tried to sell the property. We couldn't sell the property. It was under contract for 420. Nobody's lived in this house for 5 years. It's just been vacant. So you can imagine the drama, right?" Um, don't see you still. Scott Weebrook joined the waiting room. I don't see him in the waiting room. Am I crazy? But Zoom email is telling me that he's in the waiting room. I'm confused. Hmm. Interesting. Well, maybe he joins the new Zoom. So, Brady goes, well, I have all these judgments and, that's why the house didn't sell. So it was under contract and they were in a situation where they couldn't sell the property because there's so many judgments and liens against this property that it made it very, you can't, and there's a notice of interest. So if you file a notice of interest on a property, hi Scott, welcome. If you file a notice of interest on a property, then unfortunately it causes a lot of problems because if you can't sell a house without that notice of interest being gone, which is a good thing for you guys to know, right? Because it's like, oh, sweet, right? Like you can do a lot of really cool creative deals and put a notice of interest, file that properly on title, and nobody, right? First right of refusal, essentially. Like nobody can sell the house without you knowing about it. Like I love this. As a wholesaler, as all those things, and people get that wrong all the time. So Scott, why don't you go ahead and I've kind of just updated everybody as far as like, where we were at a little bit. And so this could go south. So I'm going to prep you. I'm going to give you an immune shot real quick. Brady's been super kind and nice up to now. He's been in panic mode, but he's been very kind and he's been very nice. He's been obviously desperate help, right? He needs our help. However, because we already sent him a letter of intent, right, of like what we're thinking we can give him, it could go south pretty fast. He could start becoming and behaving very aggressively and start to make you out as a bad guy and myself, just so you know. So just be prepared that if he starts to turn, I got you, don't stress. But it's very common and it's very normal because again, it's not you, it has nothing to do with you. You have your own numbers, right? You have your own systems that we fall under. But what he's dealing with is making him freak out, right? Yeah. So why don't you go and turn yourself off of mute so we can hear you and Brady as we thank you. And thanks for not having your headset on so that we can, have that going. And then I probably will have to have you hold it up to wherever the speaker is. I don't know where the speaker is on computers, so I don't know how that works.
My speaker's right here.
Oh, yep. Oh, okay.
You can hear yourself now.
Yes, I can. Um, cool. But I meant like, yeah, I don't know where the speaker is for the intake, right? So I can hear Brady better.
The
Um,
microphone, it's right on my camera.
oh, really? Oh,
Cam has microphone.
very
Camera.
cool. Okay, well, go ahead and give him a
Hold it
jingle.
up like this when he's talking.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yep.
And then, all right, I'm calling him.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Scott do it today. He's smiling and dialing for us.
Hmm. Hey, Brady.
What's up?
We got Maeli here as well. Um, so we can hear you. So, did you get the spreadsheet I sent?
Yeah, yep, I got that. That was the only thing, well, that and the abstract was in the email. I'm not sure if there was supposed to be anything else.
Right. Yeah, I sent that abstract so you could actually have a record of your own thing, right?
Did you talk to Whitney yet today, Scott?
Printed copy here as well from a while ago, but yeah, and I compared them and I did not. It looks exactly the same as what you guys sent to me. So, I'm just wondering if there's like a deeper, if there's more a different way to search title. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, so that's actually something that we were thinking too. So we got off the phone with Whitney. We both went, you know what? We should double, triple check with Whitney and verify that there's not more to this, right? Um, because because it's not also showing back taxes anywhere on there either, which that was a red flag for me. Because usually it'll also show back taxes. Does that make sense?
Did you hear what he asked?
Uh-uh.
So Brady, I'm on this microphone Zoom thing once again. And so sometimes the speaker that you're speaking in through on my phone doesn't go loud enough for them to hear it. And
But
so when
sometimes
they
it does, which is weird.
is there a better way to do the phone call then?
No, I can hear you just fine.
did you hear that? Say it again.
I can hear you just fine, Brady.
Okay. So did you find something as you triple checked? Did you find other stuff on the title then?
Well, so actually Whitney hasn't gotten back to us. So we don't actually know that 100%. But we did ping her this morning and just, hey, can you triple double check this? Because I do feel like there's a discrepancy here, right? That's what we just said was, hey, he also is saying that there's some back taxes, obviously, right? So what would be, and this is what I asked her is, well, I should say what Scott has asked her is what at closing is 100%, what kind of money, right, do we have to bring to the table to close? Like, what does that look like? What's the total amount if nothing got removed, right? Let's play the magic wand of somehow this did fall off, But if it didn't, like, what would be the worst case scenario if, all these judgments, everything was still on there? What would be the exact number that is, being allocated to this specific account? And what needs to be paid off. And so hopefully she gets back to us. I know she had a bunch of closings this morning. And so unfortunately, right, that just pushes our time back. But she's pretty quick at getting that stuff. So she will put that together and then send it over to us. So we should know by, end of today at least.
Some step, there's not really anything else that can be even figured until then. So when you hear from others and then
Well, do you want to talk through like the different offers that we were suggesting just so that, there's because Scott was about to, write up multiple offers. Well, we had them pretty much already filled out to send them to you. But then I thought, don't waste your time, Scott, filling everything out if we don't even know that this is something that, Brady can play ball with. Like like let's talk with you first and talk through with a strategy of like, hey, yeah, like which way are you leaning? What would make the most sense to you?
Yeah. So no, absolutely. You guys have offers. Go one way or another with either any of those offers. It would be good. I would like to see something for sure. But and again, I've been completely transparent with you guys about my knowledge of what's on there, and I'm very, I know what's happening with the property. So as far as that other judgment, of 76,000, it's on there somewhere. I mean, it is. I know it is. I was like thinking last night. It's like, did I make this up in my head or something? No, it's on there. But so I would like to look at any kind of scenarios that you guys are seeing, thinking, and any types of offers. So if you've got multiple different ways that you can see this and for each one of them, I would love to see those today. And let's look at those, and would be something that can prep us for the conversation to happen later today. So yeah, I mean, like I've said in the side, I'm ready, willing, motivated. So let's look at all of our options and scenarios so that we can figure it out.
So if we were presenting, so the kind of the two offers that we were thinking would be more of like a creative financing offer and then just a traditional, right, cash offer. Um, the the creative finding, I just am curious of which way you'd be potentially leaning more towards, just so that we can spend a little bit more time on that. And if because it does take a while to actually calculate all the numbers and get to the exact like, oh, okay, this is how this works, right? So for Scott to do and invest that much time into something, I would just I'm like, okay, I love that for him and it's practice and he should be doing that anyway. But if there was like, hey, I would rather maybe just a monthly stipend every single month for 6 months. And that way it's covering my nut, it's covering like the chaos that's happening in my life. And then at closing, right, I'll get my full lump sum that we were planning in the first place to pay everything off. But it would just put more money in your pocket if that makes sense. Because now you're essentially the hard money lender. You're not, right? We would just be they would, you'd be essentially equity partners in on this deal. But yeah, do you like that idea of a structure? I mean, I know you want to get done with this property. I totally understand you want this out of your life. But if we could do it in a way where you made more money, would you like that? Or should we just not even include that as part of an offer?
Well, and there, maybe I don't completely understand that scenario if you are proposing it or saying it or thinking it. But, I should have been, if I would have known that this whole process would have been taking as long as it is, I should have been renting the property from the very beginning, right? But no, also, I was just expecting planning to get it moved as quick as possible. With saying that, though, I don't have any mutually in the property. I mean, there's taxes that are accruing, but really, I don't have a cost of the property. So if I were to decide that I wanted to rent it, it could rent for $2,700 a month and whatever, and go down that road and deal with it. I could do it on my own if I don't want to do it. I mean, I kind of look at it like, okay, yeah, I should have been doing that the whole time if I had known. However, we are here. I just want to sell it. I really don't want to stretch it out longer than it has to. But again, we don't have a crystal, so it could take another 6 months to get title stuff cleared or whatever. And then I would have wished that we went a different way. It's a very hard answer question to answer because we just don't know.
Sure. Right. Yeah. Well, and that would be interesting too. Actually, that's a great valid point that you just brought up, which is, if because in our offer, because that would be the thing would be we would be saying uh our goal would not be holding it. Our goal wouldn't be to be like, hey, let's partner up and have a rental together. I mean, that could work and that would be awesome because you're right. Like you probably could just rent it out and that would be fantastic. And then, we would be managing it and you don't have to deal with it, right? Everything would just be handled and you just make your cash flow every month. So we could structure something like that. The issue with that is we don't know that wouldn't be us purchasing the property. So that's totally a different separate conversation. The offer that I'm thinking of, presenting to you essentially would be an idea of like, let's just kick that bucket down the road 6 months in the sense of we're still buying it, the balloon. That's when like the purchase of the home would happen, would be like 6 months from now. And so all of this is contingent upon a clear title. So, right, if we can make sure we have enough money, our offer covers with, reaching out to this person that we need to negotiate with, right? If we can make sure that our offer covers everything that's on the judgment and so that there's free and clear, there's no title issue, then we can go under contract and we would start the process of remodeling the property. So, right, that's what we do. We're fix and flippers. And so because we're fix and flippers, we would want to update the property in a way that it would sell really fast. We could get the most value possible for the property, which is why we think it would be like the 515, 510 ARV. And then we would split, right? So because you're holding, right, we're in this together, we're in it for 6 months together. We could either pay you monthly to help cover all the expenses you've got going on in your personal life. And sometimes that helps out a lot of time, for people depending on their situation. It's like, oh yeah, gosh, if you could give me $1,500 a month for the next 6 months, that's $9,000 in my pocket that I'm not hustling and grinding for, right? Um, and then while it's getting remodeled, right, then that's great. I'm living kind of on that money. And then as soon as we go to sell the property, 6 months from now, then we would split on a equity position that we discussed. Would that be something that you'd be open to? You would just make a lot more money is why we're presenting it to you. We felt like that offer felt very like, oof, it's not as much as he was hoping for, right?
Okay, so I think you're helping me to understand this a little bit. So I didn't look at it from that perspective. So let me kind of repeat it back to you and see if I'm understanding it now. Basically, I think what you're proposing is the one offer would be, okay, I'm going to give you an offer for a wholesale purchase price as is, but there's still contingencies on the title. Still, to have these things taken care of, which is a timeline of unknown. It's a wholesale price number because it's as is, and equity would be yours beyond that point. That's the one scenario, and then the other scenario that you're proposing is that basically in a partnership for 6 months, but we're not. The big key to this is that it's a wholesale price. We're going for fully unfixed, all the way, higher retail market value. For 6 months, that gives us time to clear the cycle. And am I understanding that correctly?
I believe so. I believe so, yes.
Okay. So, yeah, and when we were talking yesterday, and it was probably just because I was beyond stressed, but I had things going on, but I wasn't seeing that. So, yeah, I think that would be something that we could do, that I'm open to. One thing, if this is possible, as you write this, this is a conversation that I understand that the two of you will have to have, but as we talked about this, Yeah, let's figure out what it looks like negotiation wise as far as a monthly. What I would also hope to see is if we could do, okay, whatever, let's say whatever the monthly amount is, whatever that number is. If we could do like from the beginning, this maybe a slightly bigger chunk so that because that's what's going to help me the most is let's say we write this off and we go 6 months, at 6 or 7 thousand or whatever. Something that would be far more appealing and efficient to me my immediate situation. So I just being completely transparent. I just want.
Yeah, we appreciate that. So what you're saying, if I understood correctly, is you're saying like a lump sum of 7,000. I heard 6, but I wanted to go higher. So 7,000 right up front, the contract, and then we just do like a 2K a month. And then at the end, then we do equity splitting where either we could do like you get this amount for the house, and then my profit is this much, and then whatever above my profit would be split equitably, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I let's write it.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. We'll get creative here. I think that that's worth going down the rabbit hole for, and there's a lot of moves obviously we can play with. So let's get you at least an offer around that type of scenario, because what that's going to do, based on the numbers that Scott sent you last night, right? Our holding costs on this property for hard money is close to like $19,000-$20,000. So essentially, that's what we're saying is like, hey, how awesome that instead of paying, Joe, who's my hard money lender, points and interest, we would be paying that to you.
Okay. I didn't understand it yesterday, but this is definitely it's more clear in my head. So let's do that. Let's do this scenario, and I'd love to see it today so that I can talk to some of creditors with some confidence, But that sounds like a good plan.
Okay, yeah, I love that. So we'll the rest of this call, that's what we're gonna do. I've blocked out, another 20 minutes to be with Scott. So we're gonna wrap up this offer, get this over to you, and he'll again CC me on it. So you just, you'll always have my information, and you'll be in full communication. We also will be waiting for Whitney to get the final, there's obviously more to this than she sees, right? Than what we've seen so far. So let's get the full, whole story attached to this. And if you're like, no, I'm 100% sure that that judgment is still on there that you were worried about, that's not, that we're not seeing on the title report, then I will go ahead and actually call the attorney, not attorney. It's not an attorney that has the lien, right? It's a
attorney for that company.
Yeah. Yeah, an attorney for that company, right? Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, I'll call that attorney and see if I can get a hold of them. Unfortunately, attorneys are very difficult usually to get a hold of, but at least we'd get at least I can leave a message, have the paralegal or the assistant call me back, and we can at least be in the progress of removing that and or trying to negotiate that. Okay?
That sounds good. Very good. And then the other thing this is let's just assume that thing's on there, that judgment's on there. But like the really good thing about the 6 months of doing this is that gives us the time to clear and negotiate that and get as much margin, as much equity out of it as we possibly can. So yes, I like this.
Okay. Roger Dodger. I like it too. So we'll start working on that. If you have any questions in the meantime, you can reach out to us, but hopefully we can have something over obviously to you today, but also we'll send you that title report as soon as we have more information, okay?
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thanks, Brady. Have a great day. Bye.
Okay. Yep, take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.
You should see this guy. He looks like he came from the caves.
Really?
Like he's bald and he has this huge beard,
Oh,
and the back of his beard, he's got braided or something with Indian beads. He's really cool. You'd like him.
I'm sure I would. I like most people. And I like interesting people.
He's very interesting, and he's a good guy. You can tell he's really
Yeah,
good.
no, he is. And the reason why I warned you though is if I don't give people the immune shot is what I call it, this idea of wait a second, this doesn't always, just because he's been super nice and he's been super kind, he's been just like he has here, right? But it can immediately flip the script. And you could kind of hear it last night. That's why I was a little worried. But I think we did it right today, which is just helping him understand most of what we end up doing as investors is teaching. Really, that's what we end up doing because, right, people don't know how to read the title report, which why don't we go ahead and have you do a couple of things here? So, Scott, why don't you ship? You knew exactly where I was heading. Why don't you show us the title report real quick that Whitney did send us? But actually, before that, will you real quick ping Whitney, send her an email from that email and say, "Hey, Whitney, looks like there's a discrepancy on, this title report. He's very confident that there is still a $76,000 judgment that's not showing on this title report. Please, can you, do a deeper dive on title? And we need to know exactly down to the dollar amount what we would be owing at closing. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Perfect. I wouldn't add Brady to this.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Just making sure.
It's suggesting
Yes. Yeah.
AI working at its best, right?
Right. Yes. We like AI.
Oh, Whitney. Okay. Maeli and I are closer to getting a contract with Brady and are in need of your help.
Yeah.
Um,
And actually, maybe she just answer. Let me see if she'll just answer while we're
yeah, be good.
just, you send this just in case. While you're
Oh,
doing that.
hang
And
on,
then just
typing.
but while you're typing and getting that done, let me see if
Please send us a breakdown.
Leave your message for 8.
nope. She is in a bunch of closings this morning. So I assume that would be the case. But yeah, so send this over to you. Please send us a breakdown of what actually costs at closing. I would add to this and say there seems to be a discrepancy from what the title report is currently showing.
And what Brady is saying, right?
Uh-huh. He is very certain, or he is certain that there is another judgment of like $76,000 that's not showing up on title as it sits. Yeah. And he's back on tax, he owes the last few years in taxes that's also not showing.
And he is what?
He hasn't been paying taxes, so there's, years of back taxes that will need to be paid at closing. And that's also not showing up on this title report.
Okay, that look good?
Yeah, I would actually give her a deadline. So something that a lot of people don't realize is that when we're vague and just like, hey, we need your help, it doesn't give people like a sense of urgency on how fast we need stuff to move. So I actually would start, so before you say, will you please? So before you do all of that, I would just say, um, he is in desert or in he is in serious distress. This homeowner, Brady, is in serious distress, and we need to get him an offer over today if possible. But unfortunately, our offer is contingent upon, right, this whole thing. So if you could work your magic, that would be helpful and have it back to us today. And that really gives people timelines. People get upset about our professionals, right? We always like, oh, they didn't get back to me, and oh, they didn't do this, and oh, right. We're always frustrated with our professionals that we're working with, and a lot of times it's actually our fault because we're
It's
not
just communication. Yeah.
communication. Yep. So just be very mindful, all of us, as you're looking through this and or hopefully this process makes sense to you guys. Um, we've been very transparent. So these are the title documents. We'll pull them up so we can read them together. But go ahead and send this.
All right, before you hit send,
Mhm.
add in there after the Brady is in serious distress and we need to get him an offer over today if possible. What Maeli said, but our offer is contingent on the title findings or whatever.
Yes. Oh, I didn't see that you didn't add that. Thank you for adding that. Because yes, right. So we need the title report. We need the full report. On
Like contingent upon what? What did you say, Tanya?
the
Title findings or whatever.
Yeah.
It was Maeli that said it. I just am.
On all, yeah, it's a contingent upon all the judgments or all of the fees that are due on title. Yeah,
The fees.
judgments. Yeah. Yep.
Does that look okay? I like it. Thank you. I think more heads make a better email.
Totally. Totally. Yep. And I was,
And it's better than AI.
yeah. We got Tanya AI. I like it.
Right.
Whatever. I was gonna say Maeli. Maeli's better than AI.
Okay.
You get it all.
All right. So here we have our two
Mhm.
documentations.
Yep. Let's actually
And
go back. Let's go back to the title report. I think this is very helpful. So
oh,
going
uh,
to email, back to your email.
well, I can just open it here. Abstract.
Perfect. So start at the bottom. So what we did here, or what Whitney did here, is she sent this title report over on this property, right? And what our findings are is just this. It's very interesting though. So there's a lien for $424,000, 65, whatever. And that is him. So it's Brady, the owner of this property, actually hired an attorney to put a lien against his own property to stop a foreclosure from happening. And to make it so that the first and second position don't have any, like they can't sell this property because the home isn't even worth $420,000. That's
Oh,
that's wild. So this is very unique. Scroll up a little bit. The comb 5 years ago, this is why I thought this would be a great training. And I did 2.5 hours of video Zoom training last night for all of you also. So it's being, it was recorded. I'll upload it to YouTube and it'll be an awesome, just like from start to finish, like how we discovered this whole mess, to writing the offer, to using the calculator, to, the whole mess. So it was really good.
Is
With a lot.
Brady's we may want to either fuzz out on your video if you're uploading it because this is Brady's life, right?
Yeah, but the nice thing in the state of Utah, the way this works, I mean, this is a private, it's not on a YouTube channel that's public. I would be making it a private YouTube video for only Investor Secret Network. So based on, we're actually fine. But if somehow this got leaked out, I would have issues, right? And that's when we would have problems. And there is a way to blur out some of this. But the purpose of
Right.
showing you this is the second deed of trust right there. That is actually the reverse mortgage that his grandpa had. And then he died 5 years ago. And then Brady's been in juggle trying to get this property back from his grandpa because it should have been his.
Right around here. He actually, this is what saved Brady. So this is what Brady told me. Or no, this is what did you tell me?
Mhm.
No. No, Brady told me this on the first time I talked to him. He said that he had put a notice of interest on the home when he was working with his grandpa. He was going to take over the reverse mortgage thing or whatever and start paying for it. And that was in 2011. Why is this 2021?
Yeah, I don't know.
These are out of order here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, he put on a notice of interest, and the only reason the courts went in favor of Brady in getting his house back from the lady that his grandpa gave his house to was because he had previously shown that his grandpa wanted him to have it.
Yep, notice of interest.
And it took
Moral of the story is if you put something under contract, which this is exactly what you would have to do, right? So Scott, the moment you put something under contract, you immediately go file a notice of interest. And most of our title, Whitney or Christina, who we work with, are going to know that, but you still need to remind them because they're humans and they do make errors. And unfortunately, it's cost me a lot of money if they make that error. And people can sell it right for just because you have the contract, but if it's not recorded, if that contract's not recorded at the title company or on the county records, it doesn't exist technically, right? It'd just be like, well, it doesn't exist, Oh my gosh, what? I have a contract with you. And if he could literally sell this property out from under you, if you don't actually put a notice of interest on this property. Okay, so I can't stress that enough. If you're wholesaling a deal, if you're doing anything while you have a property under contract, you should have the same time, the day you receive the contract back, you immediately send it back to title and say, will you file a notice of interest for this property? And they'll usually
even in your due diligence.
absolutely 1000%. Yep, because they'll remove it if you cancel the contract, so it's not a big deal. They usually do need you to notarize the notice of interest, so that's something that they probably would make you do. But nevertheless, this is a huge oh, okay, I need to have this under contract, yes. But the second thing is, we need to make sure that the county knows and the city or the title company knows that nobody else gets, right? Because if somebody else wanted to come to Brady, which he has a couple other people, Josh and right, different people making him offers, supposedly. And so it's if Josh was like, oh, sweet, I'll put this offer together. You guys are already under contract, but somehow he comes in a higher number and, he's able to do a higher, better offer, supposedly, then he could literally just sign with Josh. And then Josh would be like, oh, sweet, I have this deal. He wouldn't even know that we have a contract, right? He probably would lie to him. And then when he went to close, this has happened 1,000 times, he goes to close 2 months from now or whatever the deal is, and he will do all that work and not be able to close because we have notice of interest on the property.
Oh,
And
But
that's on the title.
and that's on title. That's correct.
So when you do the closing for a deal, oh, no, it's before because you're under contract. That's just between the seller and the buyer. So then you go, once you get that contract, then you go to your title company and
Yep.
okay.
So you immediately send it over to title. So you should be in a lot of communication with your title company. Okay. So that's why we just brought on Christine Moser, and it's because Whitney's actually always so busy. She has one assistant and she's just slammed right now. She's she's double timing right now, and it's, I don't want that for her. The person that actually taught Whitney, and has done more creative financing deals and has worked with more investors than anyone else in the entire state is Christina Moser, and she just became our in-house counsel. So we're very lucky to have Christina. I highly recommend, moving your business over to her, as you go under new contracts, because what's
Is
gonna
she,
Huh?
what does that mean? What does that mean? She just became in-house or whatever.
It just means that, she is agreed and has been assigned to all of you as your counsel. Meaning you're gonna say, "Hey, Whitney, I need all the docs, right? I need these." So, hey, I'm looking at this property. I already talked to the homeowner. Make sure you've already talked to the homeowner. Do not reach out to her unless you've already talked to the homeowner. I've talked to the homeowner. And it looks like to me this is a deal, right? I ran my numbers, it looks clean. But I don't know if my numbers are accurate because I don't know what's on title. Can you please run a title report? And she'll run the full title report, and then she'll
Who
send
does
it
she
back to
work for?
GT title.
Okay, so Christina is still employed at she has a job, GT title, but she's our guy,
Yep. Yep.
basically.
Yep.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then Whitney's also our guy because she's really good as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's just going to be a lot harder to get a hold of, and Whitney
Because
and Christina, we have 7 assistants ready and able to help us right now. So it's just
always Christina.
oh,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So when I said this to you, it was actually I sent Whitney this whole thing, and then 2 hours later I signed the contract with Christina. So I was like, oh, well, anyway, so I still work with obviously Whitney on this one because she sent you all the deals. But I do just moving forward, it is really great to have Christina in your back pocket to be like, hey, what am I missing? Do I have all the documents that you need for closing, right? Like she is your best friend to help you make sure that you're closing this property. Okay, so yeah, let's fill this out real quick.
I can't, there's no, but I can draw text.
Oh,
Oh, must be black
mm-hmm. That's fine.
out of text. Oh, what happened? Where did my text go?
Mitch. Oh yeah, that worked. Did it? Oh, dang it.
No,
Go away.
it disappears.
Using your new.
Let's see if I can.
Give me 1 second. I will be right back. You can skip that part for now. And then we'll come back to that.
Oh. I don't know why it's doing that. So who all's on the meeting? I know Tanya, but I don't. The other ones are.
Hey Scott, it's Courtney.
Oh, hey, Courtney.
How are you?
Well, I'm trying.
You're doing fantastic. This is what progress is.
I'm going from day to day, and one like this morning I woke up, I'm like, I'm just gonna give this to Maeli.
No, Maely's
Yeah.
great, but I learned many years in real estate, never give everything up. And if you partner with somebody, that's even like a better middle to just be like, let's do it together. I'm scared. I'm learning. I'm out of my area, out of my whatever.
So
Just partner.
you're
'Cause
saying what? Never give up, never
never
what?
never give it up. Do like you're doing, where you're partnering with somebody that's more comfortable than you are, because then you can learn it. You're getting like the most invaluable hand-holding experience through this. So never just toss it away. Just go, I'm gonna pair with somebody that knows
Yeah,
what I
but
need to know. Just like you're doing.
what if I end up losing my shirt and I owe all this money?
We'll get you a
And
new shirt, Scott.
then say to Maeli, I feel like I might end up losing my shirt. What do I need to know in order to make safe, smart decisions
Like
to make sure I don't lose my shirt?
these co-partners, co-brain partners of mine are helping me reformat. This morning I woke up and I'm like, I've got to give this to Maeli.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just like, but it's soon dissipated. I mean, I am so nervous because because Maeli, my biggest fear,
Mhm.
and I will tell you straight up, I am like, I'm a risk in my day job. I do cybersecurity, risk management type stuff. And I telling you, the house is not worth 515. I don't care how beautiful it looks. In my mind, I can't get past this idea that I can add something to it and it'll make it magically worth 515. There's no way. In my mind, there is no way it's worth 515.
But you have comps to prove it.
No, we made those up.
No,
Remember?
we did not.
Yeah, we did. We did. We had one maybe. And then we had another one that was fake. And then we just like, well, we think it's this.
Well,
That's
so
how it was
again,
in my head.
so that's why you have 2 weeks of due diligence,
That's yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the due diligence part, I don't want you to spend a ton of time trying to figure out the exact number of what the ARV is going to
No.
be. Like, I don't want you spending all that time until you're even under contract, like, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's not go super dived in. I want you to be very broad stroke when you're writing these offers, because I mean, this is your first offer that you're ever writing, but soon you're gonna be writing an offer every day, right? Like, this is gonna be very like, oh, this is just what we do. And you're not gonna get so emotionally attached to any of it, right? It'll just be numbers.
No emotions. Yep.
Yep, it'll just be numbers.
Okay. So there. Okay. So I put yes here, but that needs to change. Um, we're writing this offer as if he's our partner. So what am I willing? The question is, what can I give? Assuming, see, I don't believe I can get 515 out of it. But
Go back to your calculator real quick. We're almost done with the call. So, and I do have another spread, unfortunately a Zoom call. So,
reset. Well, I'll send you the contract for
Yeah.
review.
Yeah. Because it does need to be very specific on what you say inside the contract, right?
Yeah, I'll send you the contract. We're not going to have, see, at the beginning, we're not going to have any of these.
Well, so
Are
you
we?
won't, that's correct. You will still have title.
You
But
still have
title will
title.
be closer to like $1,000 for her to do title insurance and all that fun stuff.
Recording doesn't, well, yeah.
He'll be recording, but there's no points.
Actually,
Doing
he wanted 7.
Well,
Want
but
7
we're gonna
upfront.
put that, we're not gonna put that in points. We're going to, but you could actually, in this case, you actually could just to
Because he
right.
wants 7 up front, and then he wants 2,000 a month.
Yeah, we probably won't get that, but
Oh, you don't think?
I mean, based on our numbers, I don't think so, no. But
Okay, so we can put 0. I'll put 0 here because
no,
all of these.
take off the
Oh,
2.
look, I put -2 somehow.
Yep.
I
Okay,
don't put these at selling. Okay,
so that's right. Yep.
that doesn't change. And if
Mhm.
we're paying for a realtor,
Mhm.
I wanted to calculate this at 6%
Why?
because I'm not good at negotiating.
You are too. Look what you're doing right now. You're negotiating with Brady. This is you negotiating with him. And I'm here the whole
Okay,
time. You're here the
so
whole time.
if he does if he does, see, but as an equity partner, there's a lot of difference, huh?
Yes, we're gonna go
So-
through that.
So is this stay the same?
In my mind, I think 4% is fine to calculate.
Okay. Total interest,
If he's your equity partner, you shouldn't have any.
Correct.
but he's wanting 2,000 a month. I mean,
That's not how you'd calculate it though.
okay. Property taxes, the same. About the same,
Hmm.
roughly.
Mm-hmm. So hit
This
calculate,
fair cost is gonna be, now it's gonna be,
say 60,000.
is what we had at 382.
Okay. So, and that's going off of a 515 ARV, correct? So if you
Maybe
wanted to raise cap,
510 here.
huh?
Huh? Go ahead.
So if you're saying like the difference, right? The difference between, oh, let me get it here. So the difference between 510, is that what the ARV was? Or no, 515 we put. Oops, back up. So 515 minus 382, 549 equals, there's $132,000 spread. There's not a big spread, right? Like
No.
it's just not. But
Mm.
you are calculating all your expenses already, like, and how much did you say you're paying yourself on this one? Scroll up.
I put 40. I changed it back
Okay.
to 40.
Good. Yeah. So 40,000. And so you're saying, well, I can offer 382 and make $40,000 on this deal. Now, that's the offer because, right, that's a different thing. So on the rep sheet, this is all that it says. Like you just go off of this specific document, okay? On the addendum, that's where it gets unique. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this document is what you export and you're like, okay, this is all these numbers or what I'm going to be transferring over to the REPC. So it's like, this is my purchase price, right? This is just what you do. And then the addendum is where we're going to get creative and we're going to be like, okay, condition specific, right? Like we were doing before. So, yep, cool. And the only reason why he's going to get the 382, right? Because we can't offer 382 unless he was a partner. So that's why we get creative here.
There's another spot that was located. Anyways,
The very bottom where it
very
says
bottom.
earnest
Okay, we'll
money.
get there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There it is.
So this would be seller financing of,
So you would, so if he does want $7,000 up front, then you would, you'd put that,
this would
huh?
go here.
No, because earnest money isn't going to go to like what he receives up front.
Oh, okay.
We can figure that out on the back end, so I can help you with that. So seller financing, you would remove $7,000 from that number because technically what you're bringing to the table, so balance of purchase price at cash settlement, you would be bringing that to the table.
9, 730. So my purchase price would be 375.
Nope,
by 4.
nope.
So it'd still be the 382.
Because the $7,000 is just going towards the purchase price.
375.
He's just getting a down payment, right? He's getting front loaded $7,000 for
549. That's the 7,000 difference.
okay.
So I'm having a hard time saying that this is going to equal that, these.
So balance of purchase price in cash at settlement, that's actually $7,000.
Oh, oh, okay.
Okay, moving right along. So you, right, so 8, you scroll down to, and so, right, it's not upon recording. We're going to, right, the property business is upon recording, right? I always say upon recording.
Oh, wait.
Not always, unless you're negotiating something. Scroll down to 8.1. That's probably the next big thing that you can fill out the rest of this. So just make sure that you don't skip this one. It is condition. It is always conditioned upon due diligence. Okay, scroll all the way down one more. And then there's a spot here for, is there appraisal condition? Is not, because there's no appraisal. And then financing, so there's no financing required. Perfect. And then keep scrolling. And again, you need to make sure that there's an NA on everything that isn't applicable.
Okay.
But
NA, okay.
and then there's no additional, so right, like you can put 0 NA, right? Addenda, there are, so there will be an addenda, and there will be addendum number 1, and it is a seller financing addendum. So then you click on that button. Yep, perfect. And then, yep, scroll down, and then home warranty will not, because you don't need one. On this case, when you sell it, you always need a home warranty, right? Like
Right.
But yep, so mediation, I personally say shall, but that's up to you. And then default, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Obviously you sign everything. And then here you go. So seller's disclosures deadline. So this is, you do require, everybody needs to get seller's disclosures from all of the people you're buying properties from. So if Tiffany Wright, you can hear me. I don't know if we talked about that yesterday. Is Tiffany still here? I feel like she was here for a minute. So I don't know that she knew that she needed seller's disclosure, so I hope she did. You have to get seller's disclosures from your buyer or from your seller. And even if he doesn't know if anything has been repaired, even if he doesn't know whatever, it's still great to have proof of him saying something about the property, because if all hell breaks loose, right, then we have an ability to come back after him for whatever needs to happen if it's clearly something he knew was a problem, which is why he wouldn't let people live in there for 5 years, right? Whatever the story actually becomes, if there was, if he had a mold test done and we can prove that it did, all sorts of stuff comes back to people. So make sure they fill out their seller's disclosures. You can, you send that to them. So you can just Google seller's disclosures.
And they fill it out?
They fill it out. You just send it to them in a PDF and then have them, send it back to you. This is the date in which you want them back. So if your due diligence timeline is 2 weeks, then I would say no later than like 3 days. Like I want my seller disclosures back as soon as possible so that, so I just put 3 days.
Oh, 3 days?
After a contract is accepted.
Oh, you do this?
If they don't fill it out, does that mean deal's just dead?
They're in breach of contract. They are. I mean, you can just make an addendum, right? And be like, if they reach out to you and they're like, hey, I need a couple more days, and it's like, okay, I'll do an addendum and I'll add, 3 more, whatever amount of days that they say they need, then I'm going to add that to my due diligence.
Okay.
And then I'll give them that many days. So in the addendum, I'll say, hey, you need 3 more days. Okay. So the addendum is, the due diligence timeline goes till this date now. And 3 more days for this due diligence.
I would be okay if 5 days.
No,
I mean,
no.
No, listen to Maeli on this.
Yeah. Make them do it. And actually, I think 3 days is kind, to be honest.
I'd give
Sometimes
them one
I'm like, I
stat.
need it to tomorrow, right? I'm very like.
Listen to Maeli on this one. I'd give them 1. So she says 3. She's being generous already. Don't push anything further. Hey Maeli, do people ever say everything that you're saying in your contract, except if there's something that is the buyer giving it let's say there's a $10,000 down payment going with it? Have they ever in Utah said and the $10,000 will be deposited after I get the seller's disclosure received?
No, no,
Okay.
it's not a part of yeah, the way you tell, because
Okay.
your earnest money is what you have to put down, and you have to put your earnest money down within 4 business days.
And I put $100.
Yeah, and you put $100.
4 business days of them signing this.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
This
that's why he
stays
did
at
it. And that's why he did $100, because he's like, like, I don't care.
it stays at the title company, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
And
do
the
it.
title company
I say
be
14 days. I think that's fair.
14 days.
Yep. Yep, fine. And the reason why that's so important in this case, you can just do a date, right? You can just look at your calendar and be like, oh, but we don't actually know when. Like, this is all contingent upon this title being cleared, right? And so because we don't know when the title is actually going to get cleared up here, we have a lot of footwork to do. That's why that's so important. Is like, oh, well, we're just
So
going
the contract, even though, let's say he signs it,
Uh-huh.
I sign it,
Yep.
so the contract wouldn't be accepted until the title was
No,
cleared.
you would be under contract.
Okay.
You would immediately
So-
send it over to title. They record it, and now we wait until all the judgments fall off.
And then the 14 days start.
Technically, no.
So we'd be under contract. I would have to do my due diligence in 2
Verify you
weeks.
even want this property. Because why would why would we hang him up and you up for the
And me
next
up
3 months, 4 months,
while we're waiting.
depending on, when this judgment
So-
comes off. Yeah, we're
So
not
all
gonna
of
do that.
this stuff would be done
Yep,
after we both agree.
yep.
And then what would the financing and appraisal deadline be?
There's no financial and appraisal deadline.
So this is NA
Uh-huh.
settlement deadline.
So on this case, you would put, actually, I'd also put NA for now, because we don't
Because-
actually have that figured out, that piece yet.
Because it's when we sell the property.
And we haven't, well, for now, actually, in this case, it gets a little funky, because you will want to put a settlement deadline, because that's the balloon, right, date. But we haven't done that balloon date just yet, so I just come back to this one. So just leave that one maybe blank for a second. We'll come back to that one as soon as you go ahead.
Can you put to be determined there?
You can.
Not-
You absolutely can. Yes. In this case, you totally can.
Hey, Maeli,
Mhm.
who's the person in the trend? Like, I heard you say something until these liens fall off. I assume you're saying you're putting everything together, the liens will fall off, and then it'll close. Who's the person that is calling the different liens and saying, will you take this? Are you good at the closing? We'll satisfy you this way. Who's doing that piece?
Lawyer and Maeli. So Brady has a lawyer's working on one of them, and then Maeli's calling another guy.
And in order to make the deal work, she's saying, I know your lien's for 10, I can see it in the title, but will you take 4? We'll close in 15 days. That's better than nothing. Is that kind of how it goes?
Yeah, in this case, it's $76,000, and we'll say, in order to make this a deal for us, the only way we can buy this property, we need him to come in and get $15,000.
Okay, but maybe it's been long enough that it's better than nothing. Is that kind of the strategy?
It's been 5
Okay.
years, so it's like,
Wow.
bro, like, here you go. Here's 15 grand. You're welcome.
And did he give you guys like some sort of, or did you give him some sort of form that says, as a third party, we can call all your liens and do this for you to get it done?
Nope,
No, okay.
don't need that.
He gave Maeli the phone number and the name of the guy.
That's
Good
true.
enough. Okay.
But yeah, you don't need like legal permission or.
Okay. That counts as consent. He gives you a phone number. There's intent there. I see it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's a great question though. So unfortunately, I'm so sorry. I have a 1 o'clock and I'm 16 minutes behind, and Christina Moser, and she's gonna lose her marbles because I keep procrastinating her. So fill this
send
out
this-
as best as you can, and the rest of this other finance addendum as well. And
I'll
then
send
we
it to
will,
you.
yep, send it to me. And then I'll review it with you and then, give you some just, hey, change this. And then we can jump on a call. And if there's too many questions, we'll jump on a call to help you fix it. Okay?
I'll finish filling it. Okay, thanks,
Okay.
Maeli.
Yeah, no, you guys have got this. And this was a great
Thanks
call.
for
Hopefully
your
you loved it.
smiling dial helping.
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome. This was awesome. This was the best.
Okay, good. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.